So what were you diagnosed with, and do you remember when you were diagnosed with it?
I have bipolar depression, and I was diagnosed with it when I was 16.
Can you tell us, like, do you remember how you felt in your episodes of depression, and how long they were, if you can remember?
It really depended on what was causing it. So sometimes it was seasonal. It would usually last like around 2-3 days, and then I'll be okay. I would feel like really empty, and like I couldn't control like my body. It was really weird.
What did you do? Like, would you just like sit in places and just like be there?
It depends, because when I first got diagnosed, I would cut. So that would be like twice a day, and then it started becoming 3 times a day, and it was like every day for the whole week.
Were these on a regular, or when you would like after you would have an episode, or was it just because?
It was a release, so it was after like
Okay.
the episodes, I guess.
How did your family react to these during the times, like as far as you being diagnosed for one, and like the cutting? How they react to that?
They never found out about my cutting, but
To this day?
yeah, they still don't know. But because of my age, I was able to say whether or not I wanted them to know. My mom found out when I was 17, so she found out recently. That was only because I needed to take medicine, which I couldn't
For the
sign for.
diagnosis?
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad still
Okay,
doesn't
so as
know.
far as you said that your
So-
parents didn't know like about your diagnosis, and then your mom found out like when you had to take medicine, but how did diagnosis come along? Like, did you do it at school, or if they weren't there when you got diagnosed?
My mom had claimed that I was having problems. So when I was like 12, she took me to a therapist. That's when I first started getting it. And then I stopped for a good year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I ended up going to the same person. And then that's when she was like, when you were younger, I kind of saw it, but I wasn't sure. And then she died.
So did the diagnosis affect your everyday life? Like, I know you said that you would cut as like a relief after an episode, but as far as like going to school and hanging out with your friends and being on the beach and stuff, like.
I think I was a lot more distant after. I never really hung out with people as much anymore. I would usually just stay home. Getting out of my bed was a struggle. Going to dance, doing things that I would usually do was really like difficult for me. Things that I really enjoyed actually.
How long did you do dance for?
Since I was 3.
Did it stop after you got diagnosed, or was it just like a off and on type thing?
No, I actually stayed at dance, but
That's
it
good.
was just still kind of hard, you know.
So, kind of like explain what you mean by getting out of your bed is hard, because I feel like a lot of people think that that's not like get out your bed, Amari. What are you doing? Like, what do you mean?
Like I was not only physically, but I was mentally tired. Like I was weak because I, was cutting and I was just losing blood. But like, I didn't want to get up because I felt like no one really cared about how I was feeling anyway. So what was the point? Like, what was the point of life, you know?
Mm-hmm. Did you ever want to talk to your parents about it?
I'm the type of person that likes to keep things in, so not really. Like I never really spoke to anyone except for that one therapist about it and everything.
Have you talked to your parents about any of them, like previously? I mean, not previously because you haven't had it up to date, but I mean, like looking back on it, have you talked to your parents about it?
Nope.
Not at all.
Nothing.
Wow. Okay, so on the more social factor as well, how were the relationships with your friends? Like, did any of your friends know that you were diagnosed? I know you said you stopped talking to them, but were any of them aware about it?
I started taking medicine, so I started getting better, and then I decided, like, I felt like I guess they needed to know because I was kind of like brushing them off, and I guess they were wondering why I was doing that. So I told like 3 of my closest friends. That's about it.
After you told them, did anything change?
I know one of my friends became really distant because she found out that I was cutting, and she felt like that was like all my fault. Like I shouldn't be doing that. And I understand where she's coming from, but it was just the easiest thing for me at the time. So
Just to let her go?
yeah.
Do you still talk to any of the other two that you had told make them to leave you like that?
They were always giving me advice, but they would really get upset, so I stopped telling them that I was cutting, but they knew that I was having my depression still.
So, as far as your friends and I guess like the public in general, do you think that you experience any stigma besides the one friend who said that like cutting is your fault and just kind of stopped talking to you?
Definitely. Like a lot of people just like, why can't you just be happy? Like just stop being sad. Sorry, I'm not.
Did anyone in your family ever like stigmatize you?
Actually, my mom was really, I understand she really didn't understand because I wouldn't talk to her about anything, but I guess because she noticed how I was really not wanting to do anything, really distant and stuff. And she's like, you just have to be happy, like take your medicine, you're gonna be happy. It was never really like, what can I do to, I don't know, boost your mood?
Do you think it's because she didn't know like that much about it? Like, okay, for the therapist sessions, did she ever attend one and like
she had
see how you were talking with it? She wasn't with you.
No, I didn't want her in there. Like, I just wasn't really comfortable because I feel like she would get upset. She would think it was her fault. She is very sensitive like me, so I just felt it was best if she wasn't in there.
Gotcha. So, being diagnosed at 16 and now you're 18, do you think that you've grown after the diagnosis and like as far as handling your depression itself?
Definitely grown because I don't really have to take my medicine as often, and like I realize that if I keep myself busy like a lot, I don't have them as much. But I realize that what it is if I'm just sitting there thinking is what makes it come out a lot more.
So what about the people in your life and the things in your life? Do you think that anything like have you been intentional about bringing things in your life to help you with it, or to keep you from like being able to sit by yourself and think about them?
I definitely have a lot more positive people in my life. They really like, I haven't told many people, only a few people from Temple know, but from those people that do know, they don't like hold it against me like, oh, you're depressed right now, like whatever.
Let me not help you with this, or let's not do this because you're depressed.
Exactly.
That's good. That's really good. As far as triggers, do you know most of your triggers, and you would be able to be like, I'm not gonna do this because I don't want to be in that mood. I don't want to have an episode right now.
Music actually used to be a trigger to be really like
sad music.
Yeah. But
does it make you start thinking?
Exactly.
That happens to me, but.
But now I try to be really, really positive because like there's I don't know.
Life's too short.
Exactly.
Be positive.
That's exactly.
That's how I feel. I mean, you are positive. Like you're always like happy-go-lucky. I mean,
and that's what everyone sees. They don't really like see behind the scenes, but that's what I wanna. That's what I guess my mask. I guess.
I don't think it's a mask. It's still you, because the depression parts of you. I mean, of course, you want to keep that to yourself or with the people that you trust the most, because that's not like the best part of you. You always want to show the best part of you, which is your smile and your happy-go-lucky self. So, so if a stranger came up to you and let's say you were having like a depression episode and you were like out in public and you like it really just hit you and you were walking, do you think that you would be able to handle the stigma that came from a stranger and not just from somebody you knew?
Well, because I've grown so much with it now, I think I'll be able to handle it. But back then, I definitely wouldn't have been able to. It's really hard to like hear people say things like that because it really does exist. It's a real thing.
What are some things that you've heard? Besides like, just be happy.
I've heard it's all in my head. That is the worst. I'm just like I really try and think about like, is this really all in my head? But it's not.
It's too much to bear to be thinking about. Anything else from a stranger that you've heard, or not a stranger, but like somebody not as close to you?
Well, I wasn't necessarily in the conversation. I wasn't actually in the conversation, but I can like people talking around me like. That's weird. Like it's weird that someone would cut because it's like, why are you destroying your body? Like I understand that.
And then you're just over there like.
Yeah, like I have to be quiet because I'm just like.
You don't know what's happening.
And then they want to judge me after. Like it's really like scary.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good that you've been able to grow and be able to handle it a lot better. I think it's definitely good that you don't have that many episodes. As far as like taking your medication, do you think that you still take it when you need it? Like you don't just like avoid it and not want to take it?
I try my hardest not to take it because I really don't feel like myself. Like I feel like I'm just like floating beside my body, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm not really there, but when I know I need to take it. So I have taken it like once in a month, twice. But
that's good. So as a closing thing, what would you say to those like in the world that are going to see this video that continue to stigmatize people with mental illness, not just bipolar depression, but any mental illness, like the statements that they say to people, like just be happy, or what's your problem? It's all in your head. What would you say to people like that?
Like I said before, it does exist. It's hard to handle, so you have to like, you don't have to understand, but you just have to be able to empathize with the fact that it hurts, it exists, it's something that sometimes people really cannot control.
Do you think it would be a lot better if people were educated on the mental illnesses for them to handle it? Alright, cool. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for the interview. I love you!